properties of pure substance. So these are the following topics that will be covered. So the references has been taken from the following books and the web links. Pure substance. Pure substance is a system which is homogeneous in composition. Second, it is homogeneous in chemical aggregation and invariable in chemical aggregation. So what do you mean by the term homogeneous in composition? So homogeneous in composition means the composition of each part of the system is same. If I am having a system like this, whatever composition I am having here, the same composition I will be having at other parts of the system also. So that is meant by homogeneous in composition. Next is homogeneous in chemical aggregation. Homogeneous in chemical aggregation means that the chemical elements are combined chemically in the same way as in other parts of the system. Suppose if I am having H2O at the top, so hydrogen, two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom. So these all are combined to form a water molecule, or I can say it as a steam. So at all parts of the system, it should be chemically combined in the same way. So that is meant by homogeneous in chemical aggregation. Third one is invariable in chemical aggregation. Invariable in chemical aggregation means that the state of the chemical combination that doesn't change with respect to time. At a particular instant of time, if I have two molecules of or two atoms A and B combined, okay, but after some time, due to some process, if this gets splitted, A and B are in a separate form. So this is not a invariable, it gets varied. So invariable in chemical composition means whatever process you do after some time, it does not undergo any disassociation. Okay, it does not split into more than one like that. So that is meant by invariable in chemical aggregation. That is the state of the chemical combination of the system does not change with respect to time. Pure substances, if you see, this topic will be studying to understand about steam. Okay, so you'll be studying in thermodynamics more and more about this steam. Formation of steam. So for this, you consider a cylinder and piston arrangement. Inside this, I am having water. Okay, so at the top, I am having a weight. So the weight of the substance is kept as W. So W is the weight. This is at 0 degrees Celsius. 0 degrees Celsius, it is in a liquid state. So if I heat this water at 0 degrees Celsius, what happens? Water at 0 degrees Celsius will be converted into water at some temperature. Initially 0 degrees Celsius, it is in liquid. So if I heat this, the temperature starts rising. It will become 30 degree, 50 degree. Then it will become approximately some 100 degrees Celsius. In this 100 degrees Celsius, what happens is the water will be converted into steam. So this 100 degrees Celsius, if I am saying that I am doing this experiment at 1 atmospheric pressure, then the boiling point will be 100 degrees Celsius. If I increase the pressure, then what happens? The boiling point will go to a higher point. Okay. So if you consider a weight apart from the atmospheric pressure, then definitely above this 100 degrees Celsius, the water will be boiling. Okay. So the temperature at which the water boils and gets converted into steam, so that temperature is called as the saturation temperature. So the saturation temperature is denoted by the term Ts. Either you can use small t or capital T. Okay. So this is the saturation temperature. So in the saturation temperature, initially the water will be in a liquid state. So if you apply heat, the water will be converted into steam. So both will be taking place in the saturation temperature. So in the saturation temperature, either the water will be there, or see, if you see the diagram, in this point, you consider 3 points, like some 3 or 4 points: A, B, C, D, E, and some point F. This point you consider CF. Okay. So from A to B, what happens? Temperature increases, at the same time enthalpy increases. That is the heat you are adding, enthalpy, or you can keep it as Q. So you are adding heat, the temperature rises. So this is shown by the curve A to C. So this heat which you are adding, and when the temperature increases, so this heat is called as a sensible heat. And in point C, what happens? Your substance is in liquid phase. In the points between C and D, that is from here to here, if you see, it will be a combination of liquid plus vapor. And in point E, you will be having a complete vapor phase. Okay. So to bring the substance from C to E, some amount of heat has to be added. But here the temperature remains constant. The temperature remains constant. So this temperature is called a saturation temperature, and the heat that you are adding to cause a phase change from liquid to vapor, this heat is called as the latent heat. So if you apply heat and the temperature changes, that heat is called as a sensible heat. And if you apply heat and the temperature doesn't change and it remains constant, but there may be change of phase, that heat is called as a latent heat. Above this point, that is the point T, above this point, if you apply heat, what happens? The temperature goes on increasing, but it will be in a vapor phase only. So that heat is called as a superheat. Okay, and that process is called as a superheating. In this point, at point C, you will be having x is equal to 0. At point E, you will be having x is equal to 1. Between the point C and D, the x value will be greater than 0, but will be less than 1. So now coming back to the diagram. So initially at 0 degrees Celsius, you are applying heat, the temperature rises to the saturation temperature. Again, you are applying heat, water will be converted into steam at the saturation temperature. Initially, it will be having wet steam. Wet steam means your dryness fraction will be less than 1. So it will be a combination of liquid plus water. Sorry, liquid plus vapor. Here, dry saturated steam. Again, if you apply heat to this system, what happens? All the water will be converted into steam, and finally, I will be having no liquid present in this cylinder piston arrangement. So I can say this as a dryness fraction 1. If you heat the steam further, what happens? The steam expands and it will become a superheated steam. So if you see this, the volume of the superheated steam will be greater than all the other cases. So Vf is the volume of water, Vg is the volume of dry and saturated steam, and V sup is the volume of superheated steam. So this is how the steam is formed from water. This is the temperature and the heat addition diagram. On the y-axis, I am having the temperature, and in the x-axis, I am having the heat addition. So at atmospheric pressure, see the table. At atmospheric pressure, that is 101.33 kilopascal. What is the boiling point? 100 degrees Celsius. If I decrease the atmospheric pressure, if by some way I decrease the atmospheric pressure, if I bring it to 89.55 kilopascal, that is, this is the pressure existing at this elevation, 1000 meter. So at this pressure, what is your boiling point? 96.5 degrees Celsius. So what it indicates? At 96.5 degrees Celsius itself, water is converted into steam. Similarly, I can even boil the water, see, at what temperature? 34.5 degrees Celsius. So if I have to boil the water at 34.7 degrees Celsius, what should be the pressure? It should be 5.53 kilopascal. So at this pressure, I am able to boil the water at 34.7 degrees Celsius. The basic terms which you'll be encountering during the calculation, or if you study the steam related topics, are given. So the first one, the sensible heat of steam. So in this diagram, that is from the liquid to vapor transition. So at point A, you can expect here I am having a liquid phase. Here also I am having a, at B, here also I am having a liquid phase. At C, I am having a liquid phase. So from A to C, what happens? There is a change of, there is no change of phase. Through the points from A to C, it is in a liquid phase, but the temperature increases. So the heat which is absorbed by 1 kg of water when it is heated from the freezing point to the boiling point is called as the sensible heat of water. So sensible heat of water is a heat that if you apply, the temperature rises, but no change of phase takes place. Okay, so two things you have to understand: the temperature increases and no change of phase in sensible heating. So that heat is called as the sensible heat of water. So that you indicate by the term HF. Next is the latent heat or hidden heat. Hidden heat. So it is the amount of heat required to convert water at a given temperature and pressure into steam at the same temperature and pressure. See here, the conversion process takes place at the same temperature and pressure. Same temperature and pressure means, see, at point C, I am having a liquid. On addition of heat, what happens? It gets converted into steam, and at E, I am having a dry saturated steam. So between point C and E, what is the temperature? It is a constant, and that temperature is the saturation temperature. Okay. So the heat that you are applying from C to E, so that heat is called as the latent heat. So it is the amount of heat required to convert water at a given temperature and pressure into steam at the same temperature and pressure. So it is indicated by the term HFG. Generally, F is for liquid and G is for vapor. If it is a wet steam, you have to denote by HFG. So this latent heat is not a constant one. It varies with respect to the pressure. So if you increase the pressure, what happens to this HFG? This value decreases. Okay. So at a particular point, what happens is this HFG value becomes 0. So that point is called as the critical point. Next is dryness fraction. The dryness fraction is related with wet steam. So if you are studying the steam in between the region from C to D, so in this region the steam will be wet. So if you are studying the steam properties in this region, you will be having the term dryness fraction. In this point, X is less than 1. X is less than 1. X is less than 1. So at point C, X may be 0, and at point D, X is equal to 1. Between the points X and D, we will be having the value of X from varying from 0 to 1. So it is denoted by the symbol X or Q. So mostly you will be seeing this X term. So X is equal to Ms divided by Ms plus Mw. So Ms, what is Ms? M is the mass of dry steam and Mw is the mass of water particles. Okay, so that is dryness. That is called as dryness fraction. Next is the saturation pressure. The temperature at which the vaporization takes place at a given pressure is called as the saturation temperature, and that corresponding pressure is called as the saturation pressure. So let us see from the diagram. See, I am having a curve like this. So this curve is at a constant pressure. See, I am having a pressure some 1 bar or 2 bar. Okay, some 1 bar or 2 bar pressure I am having. So for this pressure I will be having this saturation temperature. Let me clear the slide. See, this curve is for a particular pressure. At a particular pressure of, suppose P is equal to 1 bar. Suppose if I increase the pressure from 1 bar to some 1.5 or 2 bar, what happens? This curve will be shifting to a upper line. Okay, and your curve will be like this. So initially I'll be having a curve like this. Then if I increase the pressure, that is if I increase the pressure to some 1.5 or 2 bar, what happens? The curve shifts to a higher level. So if you compare this value and this value, what happens? The HFG value, you keep this as HFG1 and this as HFG2. So if you come, and this as pressure P2 and this as P1. So pressure P1 is 1 bar and pressure P2 is 1.5 bar. Okay, so if you increase the pressure, what happens to HFG? So this is your HFG2 and this is your HFG1. On increasing the pressure, your HFG value decreases. Okay, so this temperature at which the liquid changes to vapor is called as a saturation temperature. So this temperature for this curve is the saturation. You keep this as TS1. So at pressure P1, what is the saturation temperature? TS1. But at pressure P2, what happens? Your saturation temperature shifts to a higher level, that is TS2. Okay. So for each pressure, you will be having a saturation temperature. Okay. So the temperature at which the liquid is converted into steam is called as a saturation temperature, and the temperature at which this happens, and the pressure at which this transition takes place is called as saturation pressure. Okay. Next is the total heat or enthalpy of wet steam. Total heat or enthalpy of wet steam. Let me draw a diagram and then explain. I am having a temperature, heat addition, or you take this as Q, enthalpy. So if I add heat, what happens? The temperature increases, and at this point you are having a liquid. If I add heat here, the liquid will be converted into vapor. Okay, and again on further addition of heat, what happens? The temperature increases. So if I am having a steam at this point, so from here to here, the heat which I am applying, so that heat is called as HF. And from point L, this point to B, the heat what I am giving, so that heat is called as HFG. Okay. So the total heat I can say, suppose if your condition is, if your steam is at the point 1, so what will be the total heat? The total heat will be H is equal to HF plus HFG. If your steam is at point 1, but consider any point at 2. So this point is between L and B, that is it is in a wet region. So if it is in wet region, so what will be the total enthalpy? it will be HF plus X into HFG. Similarly, you can write for superheated steam also. Okay. So total heat or enthalpy of wet steam, it is defined as the quantity of heat required to convert 1 kg of water at 0 degrees Celsius into wet steam at constant pressure. So from 0 degrees Celsius water to steam, that is a wet steam. So for this conversion to happen, you will be applying some amount of heat. So that heat is called as the total heat or enthalpy of wet steam. So if it is a dry steam, you can say the total heat or enthalpy is equal to HF plus HFG. If it is a wet steam, I can say the total enthalpy is equal to HF plus X into HFG. Again, after the point 1, if you apply the heat, what happens? The temperature increases. So when steam is heated after it has become dry and saturated. So the point 1, so here, this point, at point 1, your steam is dry and saturated. Okay. After this point, when steam is heated after it has become dry and saturated, it is called as superheated steam. So between the points, so temperature and heat addition. After this point 1, if I heat the steam will be converted into a superheated steam, and that process is called as a superheating. So what is meant by superheating? It is a process of heating the dry and saturated steam. Okay. So again, this superheating is carried out at a constant pressure. Next is compressed liquid. If water exists in the liquid phase and it is not about to vaporize, then it is called as a compressed liquid. The same diagram you take temperature, heat addition, like this will be having the curve. Here it will be in liquid and here it will be in vapor. So between this liquid vapor you will be having the wet region, and here I will be having a superheated region. So at point, this point, L, here what happens if you apply heat? What happens? The water will be vaporizing. So this is the point at which the water is about to vaporize. Okay, this is the point at which the water is about to vaporize on heating. Below this point, that is in this region, the water will not be vaporizing. So this liquid is called as a compressed liquid. See the definition. If water exists in the liquid phase and it is not about to vaporize. Not about to vaporize means in this region. After coming to the saturation temperature only, it will start vaporizing. So below the saturation temperature, it will not vaporize. So that liquid is called as a compressed liquid. The liquid at a temperature below the saturation temperature is called as a compressed liquid. Or I can say like this: if water exists in the liquid phase and it is not about to vaporize, the liquid or subcooled liquid. Next is saturated liquid. The same diagram. Point A, or you keep it as point A, B like this. So at point A, what happens? The liquid, it is in liquid state. If you apply heat, what happens? It changes to vapor. So at point A, it is about to vaporize. So that liquid is called as a saturated liquid. A liquid that is about to vaporize is called as a saturated liquid. So on heating, a liquid that is about to vaporize is called as a saturated liquid. So at point B, what happens? The dry steam will be converted into superheated steam. But here I can say either it may go in this region or in this region. Okay. So point B is there. Either it may go towards C or towards A. If it goes towards A, what it indicates? Here I am having vapor. At point B, it is in vapor. If it goes in this direction, that is from B to A, what happens? Phase change. That is whether it will be a condensation process or what you say, vapor to condensation. So at point B, you are having a vapor. So if this vapor is about to condense, then it is called as a saturated vapor. So the definition is a vapor that is about to condense is called as a saturated vapor. Next is superheated vapor. So only at this point B, the vapor will be in a stage about to condense. Above this point, what happens? The temperature will be greater than the saturation temperature. So this is your saturation temperature, and above this, from point from point B to C, what happens to the temperature? The temperature is greater than the saturation temperature. Okay. So if it is only at saturation temperature, it will condense. But if it is above saturation temperature, the steam won't condense, or it will not in a position to condense. So that vapor is called as superheated vapor. So a vapor that is not about to condense is called as a superheated vapor. Next is the TV diagram. Just have a look at this TV diagram for 1 minute. See what you are able to understand from this diagram. Just have a look at this TV diagram. So what is x-axis, what is y-axis, and what is the curve? Just have a look. Just have a look. So in the y-axis, I am having temperature. In the x-axis, I am having volume. So here I am having a curve like this. This curve corresponds to a constant pressure, a pressure of 1 atmosphere. So at 1 atmosphere, if you heat water, you will be having a curve like this. Inclined line, a horizontal line, and then an inclined line. Okay. So this is at a particular pressure. If you repeat the same experiment with another pressure, that is some 1.5 bar or 2 bar, what happens? This curve will be shifting to a upper level. See, here I am having 1 atmosphere or 1 bar. So 1 bar is equal to how much? So 1 megapascal is equal to 10 power 6 Newton per meter square. I can write like this: 10 into 10 power 5 Newton per meter square. So this you can say it as a bar, 10 bar. So 1 megapascal is equal to 10 bar, or I can say 1 bar is equal to 0.1 megapascal. So this 1 atmosphere will be equal to 0.1 megapascal. So this line, okay, if I increase the pressure and heat, what happens? The curve will be shifting into a upper line, upper curve. So if you compare these two curves, what happens? the HFG value decreases and decreases, it goes on decreases till it reaches a particular point at which the HFG value becomes 0. So that point is called as a critical point. Okay, at critical point, the pressure is 22.06 megapascal and the temperature is 373.95 degrees Celsius. This is not in Kelvin, it is in Celsius. So this is the critical temperature and critical pressure of water. So at 100 degrees Celsius, we'll be having the boiling point. So that is different from the critical point. Boiling point 100 degrees Celsius, critical temperature is 373.95 degrees Celsius. So from this diagram, if you see, you keep as a curve A, B, C, D, E, F. Like this, you give names for this curves. In the curve A, this is the liquid. L1 is the liquid phase. So here, the water will be in liquid phase. It will be about to vaporize. So if you apply heat, what happens? It will start converting to vapor. And in the curve B at L2, if you apply heat, what happens? It will start converting to vapor. Similarly at L3, L4, what happens? It will start converting to vapor phase. Next, come to this side. In the same curve, saturated vapor, if you are having curve A, at this point, what happens? Here, V1. So at point 1, what happens? It transforms from dry saturated steam to superheated steam at this point. Similarly, you can say for the other curves. So if you connect all these L points, you will get a line. And similarly, if you connect all these vapor lines, you will be getting a line. So this line, which you are connecting by using all these V points, that line is called as the saturated vapor line, and this line which you are joining by using the liquid points is called as the saturated liquid line. So this is the TV diagram of a pure substance on heating. TV, or you can say it is a TV diagram of water at constant pressure. So the left side figure is the heating process, TV diagram of water corresponding to heating at a pressure of 1 atmosphere. So this diagram, the same heating, but it shows the heating under different pressures.